Welcome back. All right, so I watched the Memorial Cup. We're here to recap it. It was not a close affair. It started out that way. I have to say, the Quebec Remparts, you can see why there are teams in the National Hockey League that would be very interested in hiring Patrick Roy. This is a very well coached team. This is a very disciplined team, and yeah, tough to beat. And they're your champs. So it was Milic versus Russo. Neither goaltender drafted. At the end of the game, they did talk about how there's interest in Milic, who has passed through the draft undrafted. And would anybody be surprised to see undrafted goalies in the NHL? Well, you shouldn't be, because that's been standard. And again, I thought both goaltenders played well. In the end, Milic's numbers not great, but man, the Remparts. So, keeping in mind that in 2008 Spokane, they were the last American team to win the Memorial Cup. So what we're looking at here is, I would think Francois Bettman, Gary's brother, is keeping the Americans from winning a Memorial Cup. So that's a whole battle we can make up. I could just put like a little mustache on Gary Bettman, and there you go. All right. So, good early back and forth. Yeah, I had to get the Bettman mention in there, didn't I? So, good early back and forth. Big hits by Colton Dach early. I thought Colton Dach had a decent start, although he took a couple of penalties there. Savoie has a shot that's held, and we get some pushing. I do love how Savoie is the name in French. Savoy is the name in English. I think it sounds better in French, but that's just me. Quebec presses mostly kept to the outside. The shots on net are 2-0 Quebec, 3 minutes in. Roy has a net drive that draws a crowd. That is not Patrick Roy. There's a player named Roy on the Remparts, though. And then a rush chance gets kicked aside for Seattle. The Remparts have a 2-on-1 that misfires. Dach has a backhand shot that saved. Malatesta throwing some hits. Good pace to the game. I have to say, Malatesta, he may very well be one of those late steals in a draft. If his game that he showed today translates at the NHL level, Columbus has themselves a steal. So, hey, good news for Columbus right there, right? So good pace to the game. Lambert's denied on a net drive. Seattle presses, but on a 2-on-1. And two turnovers were brutal for Seattle today. Komarov, who signed a contract this week, he scores from Gaudette and Gauthier at 6 minutes and 31 seconds. The Remparts then go to the power play. It was a trip by Colton Dach, so it's one of those ones where you don't want to see that, especially with Quebec just having gone up 1-0. Early block and clear by Seattle. Remparts set up. They cycle. There's a near miss for Bolduc, who was all around the net. His next shot was saved. Prokop then clears. Nas has a chance that's saved. The rebound's cleared. That power play is killed off. The shots are 8-5 for Quebec, 9.5 minutes in. Siona has a rush chance that saved. Quebec not allowing much zone time for Seattle at all, really. Frustrating first half of that period for Seattle. Gunther then fires one wide on a rush for the T-Birds. Pressed by Seattle, Korchinski has a shot that's blocked. And if Russo sees it, he saves it. So, again, I would think that based on his play this year, Russo has to get some NHL interest, right? Again, goaltenders, you can just never tell. Bolduc has a net feed that's picked off. He then had a net drive that deflects out. He had a strong game, just, again, doesn't get goals. Not that he's going to be all that upset. He did get a goal late, but he could have had a bunch early on in this game. So, Pushy then on a hold by Milic. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4 out of that. Mijatovic's rush chance is saved. Bolduc then has a chance that hits the outside of the net. The Remparts press after that. Seattle then gets pressure the next shift, but they're kept to the outside. Things get pushy on a Russo hold after it's back to 5-on-5. And the T-Birds had 4 shots in a row. They had their opportunities, and they had some momentum going here. Siona's then denied close. We get more pushing after that. Seattle, their forecheck is causing turnovers at this point in the game. And then with 2:23 left, we get a power play for Quebec. It is a 4-minute high stick by Reed Schaefer. And Bolduc has a shot that's blocked and cleared. They set up, they cycle, the T-Birds block. Bolduc has a one-timer that's saved and cleared. And then with 0.3 seconds left in the period, it becomes a 4-on-4 with Malatesta going to the box. So we go to the second period, starting off with 1:36 of 4-on-4 play. Savoie has a rush chance that's saved. Robida then drops Davidson, who was trying to throw a hit himself. So Robida says no. And if you're asking, is he related? Yes, Robida is definitely related to the NHLer of the same name. Roy then picks off Korchinski's net feed. Korchinski then has a shot that's held. Allen had a blast held during a brief Seattle power play at the end of this, because remember, 136 of 4-on-4 and all that. But that's killed off, so we're back to 5-on-5. Hansel to Gustafson near miss. Quebec clears. There were no shots for the Quebec Remparts 5 minutes into this period. And the reality is, though, they're defending really well. So it's not a matter of, Seattle getting a ton of chances. Mijatovic fires one high as Seattle presses. Things get pushy on an offside. Malatesta is involved. He was kind of in the middle of everything in this one. I thought that was noteworthy. There's more pushy then on a hold by Milic. Remparts press. They're kept to the outside. Gunther has a rush chance. That's defended. I don't think Dylan Gunther is going to look back on this tournament and be very happy with things. He doesn't end up getting a single goal in the tournament. Power play then for Seattle, but it ends up 4-on-4 due to a retaliation. It was a kind of a bit of a ticky-tack penalty to start with, and the retaliation means it's not a power play. Malatesta is denied by Milic on a fast break, and then he scores on a tic-tac-toe play as they're coming into the zone. 3-on-2, same shift. So this is a 4-on-4 goal. It's Malatesta from Rochette and Komarov at 8:50. So Komarov with a goal and an assist. I didn't do 3 stars, but I think Komarov would have been my first star, although Malatesta in there as well, because Komarov plays a part in both of the first 2 goals for the Remparts. And yes, I used Nordique's goal magnets because, of course, I have Nordique's goal magnets. Why wouldn't I have that? Don't you have goal magnets for Nordique's? So Quebec then looks to add another. Gauthier has a shot that's saved. There's a press by Seattle with 9 minutes left. Malatesta fires one wide as he takes a high stick, and so that leads to Quebec's 4th power play. So high sticks, got to keep your sticks down. They cycle. The Thunderbirds block because they know they can't allow another. Bolduc fires one wide. Then there's a delay game by Reed Schaefer, who argued he did not put that puck clearly over the glass, as players are wont to do, but we have 31 seconds of 5-on-3. Bolduc fires one high, and then there was a post for Rochette. So this game, as lopsided as it was, it could have been worse. There's a near miss for Robida. Seattle clears. They do kill it off, and it felt like that could be a momentum swing, right? It's only a 2-0 game. They've killed it off. Well, Seattle does press with 4 minutes left. Gaudette then has a shot that's held. Komarov had an end-to-end chance that was held. Then there's a near miss for Schaefer as the T-Birds press. Gustafson had a slot shot that was held by Russo, and we get some pushing at that. So after 2 periods, it is 2-0 in favor of Quebec. So 3rd period, Savoie has an early shot that's held, and Quebec, including the playoffs and the Memorial Cup, when they lead after 2 periods, 53-1. So regular season, playoffs, Memorial Cup, it doesn't matter. If Quebec has a lead after 2 periods, they're pretty darn good. Allen has a shot that's blocked. Quebec clears. Malatesta has a rush chance that's saved. There's a press by the Remparts at 3 minutes because now Seattle's having to play a little bit of desperate hockey, and that's leading to more chances for Quebec as well. Roy has a shot that's held. The Thunderbirds doing some line shuffling here, just trying to find anything that'll work to get that spark and get that goal. Robida has a shot that's kicked aside. Savoie misses one high from in close. Gaudette then has a shot that's held. Gustafson misses one on a wraparound. Then there's a near miss for Hansel on a one-timer. The Thunderbirds press after that. Prokop then has a shot that deflects out. Gunther then has a shot that deflects wide. So again, Seattle generating opportunities, but we have shot blocking by Quebec. And again, if Russo could see it, he was saving it. So Bolduc fires one wide on a turnover chance, and then there was a crossbar for Robida on one that just bounces over Milic. So Milic. It bounces over him and hits the crossbar. He's mispronouncing it because of CHL. Nah, it's because I'm old. Gautier's then denied on a 2-on-1. Things get pushy on a hold by Russo. Honestly, very good game for Russo. Robida then has a net feed that deflects wide. Gautier's denied. 8:57 left. The Thunderbirds get a power play. So they're down 2-1. They need to score, and it's Huchette that goes to the box for Quebec. Early cycle, the Remparts block, they clear, and then on a rush that started by a nice block by Savoie, it is Gaudette that gets the shorthanded marker from Robida and Savoie at 12:23. So that makes it 3-0, and it really took the air out of the tires for the Seattle T-Birds here. Remparts then finished the kill. Relatively easy. There were no shots for Seattle after that. Malatesta then has a shot that's kicked aside. Lambert had a wraparound chance that was saved. Things get punchy with 4:35 left, and because things aren't going Seattle's way, Quebec comes out with the power play, and they score on it. It is Bolduc with a one-timer on a good cycle. It was from a distance, So does Milic want that one back? Maybe, but I think he just lost track of the puck there. Langlois and Houchette with the assists at 15:57. Then on the next play, it looked like Seattle might have scored. Was it a goal line stand by Russo? Yes. I don't believe that puck was in, but there was no camera angle that definitively showed the puck was in. Once they showed it overhead, I was like, yeah, there's no point reviewing it any further. You can't see that the puck's in the net. And with the way that he brings his foot forward and the puck comes out, I thought, yeah, it was probably on the line. I don't think it actually crossed the line. And then 17:56 on a slot shot on the rush, Savoie scores from Rochette and Bolduc. So to make it 5-0 and get this baby on the board on a 2-on-1, the Remparts make it 5-0. Last minute, there's a press by Seattle. They were just trying to get a goal. Anything, any kind of positivity out of this. And Russo and Quebec's shot blockers said no. And then at the end, they played Gloria. So the St. Louis Blues were not in the building and didn't come out. However, their first-round draft pick in 2021, a big part of the story for Quebec. The number 17 pick, Bolduc. So I wanted to put down players who were drafted that won the Memorial Cup today. So this is just to give you an idea of how many draft picks were on this team. And the funny thing is, not very many high picks. And Seattle had the high picks, and yet, Quebec comes out just a great team game. Malatesta was a number 133 pick by Columbus in 2021. So he may very well be an absolute steal for them. Gauthier, a number 22 pick by Anaheim in 2022. Komarov, a number 134 pick for the Sabres in 2022. He signed a contract this week. Langlois, a number 94 pick for Arizona in 2022. And Nas, a number 56 pick by Florida in 2021. I believe Robidas is a draft pick as well that signed a contract this week. But I just wanted to go through and grab players. And then on the other side, and in blue, are players for Seattle that, well, we'll talk about it. Gunther ends up with 4 assists in the tournament. Would have wanted a goal. Lambert, a goal and 2 assists. I thought he had some moments today, but you really want to see some dominance here. Korchinski, 3 assists in the tournament. Doc had 2 goals in the tournament. Reed Schaefer, 2 assists. And Prokop had the single goal. So these are all considered to be pretty strong prospects for the National Hockey League in Seattle, and just could not figure out Patrick Waugh's defensive schemes and their goaltender today. Malatesta ends up being named the MVP. So James Malatesta, MVP of the Memorial Cup, and that should absolutely get him on Columbus's radar as soon as possible, really, honestly. Radulov was the MVP for Quebec when they last won the Memorial Cup in 2006, when Patrick Waugh was also the coach. 1971, it was a guy named Guy Lafleur that was the MVP for the Quebec Remparts, before he joined the Montreal Canadiens, of course. And Angelo Esposito and Marc-Edouard Vlasic were on that 2006 team for the Remparts. Angelo Esposito, I don't know if there's ever been a prospect who was considered so highly ranked early in his draft year that dropped as quickly as Esposito, and then he never played a game in the NHL. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Congratulations to Quebec. It's not the Nordiques, but it's a championship, so there you go. Congratulations to Quebec on the win today. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. It was fun to watch something not National Hockey League related. I did my best with my notes. If I said Savoy at different points instead of Savoie, it is an honest mistake. It's like Roy and Roy when I'm watching LA Vegas games. It's just mean. But yeah, guys pronounce their names differently. Like, ask Frank Pietrangelo about Alex Pietrangelo. They're related. They pronounce their names differently. All right. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.